welcome. We're on our Delta Evo 1. It's summertime. We've come to start the car and the battery's flat. Now it has been on charge, but the battery is no longer accepting a charge. I've checked the voltage on it. There's only 2 or 3 volts in the battery. So the battery must be knackered. It's a Yuasa battery, so it's quite a good quality battery. We've had this car for 4 years. This was the battery that was on the car. So it's quite a hostile environment for a battery. In a Lancia Delta, it's hot, it's vibrations, sometimes it's got to crank over a lot to get the thing going. And because we don't use the cars in the winter, it sits all winter and discharges itself through a leaking alarm or a central locking system that won't stop itself working. So it discharges the battery. This is a modern Seal for Life battery. The Sealed for Life battery was actually invented in 1971, but this isn't as old as that. So this battery has probably had 4 or 5 years, 4 or 5 winters of being discharged. So when a Seal for Life battery, it becomes completely discharged, the conductive plates build up a coating of sulfate particles. The sulfate particles are non-conductive, so even though you can charge the battery doesn't accept that charge because there's a resistance between the plates. So I have charged this battery up, but there's only a couple of volts in it, so it won't accept a charge. So it's knackered, so we'll have to get a new one. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this and find out what size we need and get a new one. So the terminals over the years have probably been renewed by various owners of the car. The Lancia one is an 8 milli. This negative terminal is 10 milli. So we'll take those off and we'll get down the back there to remove the clip that holds the battery in. I've already loosened these off previously, so we can get them off. Now, as Integrale owners know, down the back there's a bolt. Now, it goes into a captive nut in the underneath of the battery tray, and that can get quite rusty. So if you know you're going to do this job, it's probably a good idea, give it a good soak of WD a week before or whenever, or keep coming and soaking it. But there is a chance that the nut will be seized, and it's only in the plastic frame, and that turns in the frame. If the bolt is seized into the nut, it'll turn the nut in the plastic frame, and then you're knackered. It's a bit of a job to get it out. So in this case, I've removed it already, and in this case, it's usually a 10 milli bolt, but in this case, someone has fitted a nice Allen key. It might even be me that's fitted it, and I've forgotten. But you've got to get that from down the back there. So we've done that. I've removed that. I'll show you that when we get down there. So I'm going to lift the battery out now. Right, that came out easily. So we'll get that on the bench. All batteries, all European batteries, have a type number, an ETN, European type number, and this is governed by power, amperage, capacity, cold cranking, reserve capacity in minutes, SAE, DIN, etc., etc. But the main parameter is the size. This is an 063 battery. Now it's pretty tight in a Lancia Delta. You don't get much room. You've got to get that particular kind. I went down to the motor factors and I asked for an 063 battery, and this is what they've given me. An Exide, which is quite good quality, an Exide EB442. It's a 44 amp hour battery, which makes it not quite as powerful as the Yuasa, which is 47, but I'm sure that'll do. The main thing is it's the right size, so we'll get that fitted in. Now, it's a nice battery, neat. Well, you know, a battery is a battery, but it comes with these neat covers over the terminal, so you can put the terminal on and then swing that over. But of course, because it's an Integrale, the negative one won't fit because it's close up under the wing. It's got the correct flange at the bottom for the clip to grip onto, and like I say, it's the right size. So we've ripped that bit of plastic off there, that cover, and we'll go and put this in. There's the battery tray, and there's the clip that holds the battery in, and that there is the hole with the captive nut from underneath. So that goes in there, through that hole, into the captive nut underneath, and grips the battery. Now, as every Integrale owner knows, that's just madness. So you've got to get down behind this light, get a socket on there, or get your spanner, get your 10 million in underneath. So one thing I have found, because it gets very dark in there when you put the battery, when you're going to put the battery, just flop a bit of Tipex on the end there, and at least that gives you a guide to line it up, because that slides, and it's sometimes difficult to line that up. Before you fit the battery, it's important that you make sure you dig out the negative terminal, because it'll flop down there, and when you get the battery in, you've got to take the battery out again to get it. So just make sure that that is there and you can see it, because if it falls down again, battery out again to find it. Right, so what we've done is we've got the clip, as you can see, the clip, the bolt is just located in its hole. Okay, that's tight in the captive nut, so that we can just lift that up and slide the battery in there, and then in there. Take a bit of pushing, but we'll do that. Right, here's the battery. So we'll put it in like that. Oh, it's fallen down. Okay, you stay up there, please. Okay, it's not going to. I've got that up there. Right, my head was in the way, so you couldn't really see much. But I've lifted up that little bracket, located the bolt, just so it picks up the thread, located it in the hole, lifted up the little flap, and then pushed the battery in underneath the flap, and with a bit of persuasion, it'll go under the rear mounting on the battery tray. So the battery is in. That's located in its little hole. So I'm going to get the Allen key in the Allen socket into the little bolt at the back and do that up. We've done that negative terminal with the 10 milli, and put this one on. Oh, they're coming alive. We've a white car that has quite a discharge on the battery, so I always disconnect the battery terminal when I park it up. And when I put it on, of course the car comes alive, central locking comes alive, and I have to be very careful because it locks its own keys in itself. When I put the terminal on the battery, central locking goes off, lock itself in, and then I've got to get in through the boot. So have the keys with you before you connect that terminal. But that's on now, that's tight. We'll put that around. I must see if this flap goes on. No, not really, it's a bit redundant really, but I guess, yeah, it just comes off. Right, so that's neat, that's on, the clip's on, that's secure, and you'll see here that I've written the date, the 20th of June 2018. So I've just written the date on there for my own information, see how long the battery lasts. But that's in there, and I think for next winter I'm going to buy I won't be so tight, I'll buy the poor little car a battery conditioner for the winter, keep the battery tickled up over the winter. Anyway, that's all done. Bye bye for now, thanks for watching.